Sometimes you sit in the kitchen and you get to hear from your child this innocent question. Mommy or daddy, where the baby comes from? And similar question was asked at Speaker's Corner to Islamic Dawah team to hear the explanation from Allah. Where does baby come from? The reason question is being asked because according to the eternal word of Allah, Surah 86 verse 5 to 8, actually semen comes from your backbones and your ribs. That's gonna make the baby. That's gonna make the baby. So let me read the verse for us, and please do read it me as it's on the screen. So let man consider from what he's created. He's created from a gushing fluid that issued from between the loins and the ribs. Surely is able to bring him back. And this simple question, which usually you get to hear from children, this innocent question was asked to Islamic Dawah team on Sunday. Even though we do acknowledge Quran is well detailed, well explained, sometimes it's helpful to get proper answer to this innocent question from Islamic Dawah team. Let's hear how did Islamic Dawah team explains where this semen comes from. Is it from the backbones and ribs, or is it somewhere much down? Let's hear Allah's communication skills as well as something from Islamic Dawah team.
Verse number 1 talks about the characteristics of the gushing fluid and what it does. Yes, it creates human beings. Correct. Verse following talks about another argument
that emanates from.
Now,
correct?
If you allow me to
we have a conversation.
No, I'm explaining, you listen, because I've understood your question.
Where does that come from?
The second statement, I am saying it refers to the human being, not to the gushing fluid.
That wasn't mentioned at all.
Listen,
that wasn't mentioned.
That's a lie. He's lying to you guys.
That's a lie you're just making.
He's lying to you guys. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it's sperm.
Listen.
The actual sperm comes from the backbone and the rib.
Allah said sperm.
Once we finish this, we are going to return to the question of rationality of your belief over all other religions and
your belief has already been proven to be
rational.
Now hear me out. Now, verses later, it says, إِنَّهُ عَلَى رَجْعِهِ لَقَادِرٌ.
For the human.
God surely is able to bring him back.
Says the same him.
Excuse me, brothers, tonight. Jazakallahu khairan. Be patient. One verse, one person, one voice, right? Just let me be your representative. I know what I'm doing. I've debunked those people a long time ago. You can do it again.
You've been destroyed already.
Now here it says he will bring back again. God is able to bring him back to life, right?
Move to a different verse.
Listen. These verses
86, 7.
has nouns and pronouns and a verb with a hidden noun. When I said
hidden noun.
So we have. Okay. So it's not clear.
So the
Quran is not clear. So the Quran is not clear, even though Allah says it's clear and comprehensive.
Do you know what it is?
Sorry?
It's something about Wahuju.
What's Wahuju? You don't speak Arabic.
Bro, do I speak Arabic?
You don't speak
So I'm going to
Arabic.
give you some lesson now for you to understand, because you're dealing with the Arabic Quran, not the translation.
Bro, the translation are all for Arabic people.
They're dancing around the question. Get to the question. You're dancing around the question.
Stop dancing. Stop dancing. Stop dancing.
Is a verb which says proceeding from. But within this verb, it has what we call damir mustatir. It means there is a pronoun already embedded within this verse. Like when I say
a hidden pronoun, you say.
I'm going to give you some grammar lessons now.
Couching hidden pronouns. So Allah hides things in the Quran.
No,
And he sends people like him to explain the
in
verse.
language.
So Allah sends people like him to explain the verses.
In language, when you say the door is open,
He needs to explain the verses to me because Allah can't explain it to me. When I read the book, I can't work it out. You need to
Okay. No, fair enough.
when we say the door is open, within that verb opened, Is there someone opening?
Stick to the verse. 86:7.
Verse
Verse. How does that make rational sense, Mansoor? How does your God claim that the sperm comes from the backbone and the rib? How does that make rational sense? Answer that.
That's not Jim Williams. It's about your God. He can't comprehend anything probably because he needs you to explain it. He needs you to explain his own words. It's kind of stupid, isn't it?
It's for you to listen. I am saying the verb here refers to the man. The man. It is not referring to the gushing fluid. If you were to ask any Christian Arab, they will say, يخرج can, this verb, refer to a noun that is mentioned immediately or even a little bit before that. Go and bring your Christian experts who know Arabic and get some education from them.
They will disagree. Like Christian Pitts agrees that the sperm literally comes from the backbone. That's what your God says. And you still haven't explained that.
Christian Prince the liar.
If you believe he's a liar, it doesn't matter. He's Arabic.
He's Arabic.
I'm not Arabic. He's Arabic.
He speaks Arabic.
Do you think he's a liar?
Do I think he's no? I wouldn't think he's a liar at all.
Have you seen the 101 lies or more lies about his lies on the internet? On Farid,
Is that a Muslim? Is that a Muslim YouTuber?
listen,
No, man. Is it a Muslim YouTuber who said that? Is it a Muslim YouTuber
And
who put that
what
responsibility?
if was a Muslim YouTube? What does it mean? Muslims
No.
are dishonest?
What it means is that YouTuber has a bias to protect his Quran.
And if it was a Christian
and he'll do
YouTuber,
it
it's not gonna have bias.
by any means, like make up good information, like your hadith say.
Why don't you go and listen to what this channel has exposed these lies of Christian Prince? Be a man enough to listen to
Bro,
it.
why don't you
So now-
watch David Wood? Like, watch David Wood, watch Sam Shamoon. They've both exposed Islam 1,000 times. Bro. I don't
Yes,
need
we wish. Now, again here.
Okay.
So here,
Okay. Let me finish it off now.
talk about
Let me finish it off
the
now.
human being, they are emanating, look, the human, during birth. Do you know where the baby comes out from? In between the ribs and the backbone. This is where baby
doesn't
comes
say
from.
anything about a baby, bro.
Okay.
It talks about let man think where he's coming from. Man. It refers to
Let
man.
JC respond
Okay.
anyway. 'cause
One last point, and then I'll let you have the room.
So basically, before I move on to you, as you have realized, grammatically, contextually, I have given you an explanation and some free Arabic lessons to you, demonstrating that the Quran here not only has no scientific errors, not only has any irrational statement in there, but it's actually pretty amazing when it talks about the self-propelling nature of this fluid.
Sometimes it can be difficult to follow up those conversations, but in summary, Islamic Dawah team explains the well-detailed, well-explained word of Allah, simply saying, actually, verse is not talking about sperm, it is talking about where the baby comes from. Baby comes from your backbones, between your backbones and your ribs. But those of us, sometimes, of course, we want to visualize things, we want to see, and then kind of put them together. In here, as you can see on the screen, in one side I have a man and his back, where you can see his backbones and his ribs. And then on the other side I have man, which pretty much gray, and we pointing his private parts. So one-to-one biology is when the innocent child asks this question, Daddy, how does baby put together? So the quick answer would be, it comes from the man's private parts. When mommy and daddy have sex, baby happens. But according to Allah, actually no. That liquid comes from your backbones and your ribs. Islamic Dawah team simply encouraged us to go and check with Arabic-speaking Christians. And on the line, I do have daughter of Christ with us. She is Arabic speaker. Peace of Christ be with you, sister.
Peace of Christ be with you, sister.
I think you just watched this video. Can you just simply tell me what is happening? Because Islamic Dawah team encouraged us to speak and then get the proper answer from Arabic speakers.
So what I heard was talking about Surah 86, verses 5 to 8. I'll read it in the Arabic. It says, فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Let man observe from what he was created. خُلِقَ مِنْ مَاءٍ دَافِقٍ. He was created from a fluid, ejected, gushing fluid. The word is dafiq, which means gushing. Ma is the fluid, and it's a masculine noun. Verse 7. يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب. Emerging from between the backbone and the ribs. This is exactly what it says in the Arabic, exactly what it says in the English. يخرج here is the verb to emanate or to leave, to come out of, and it's referring to a masculine noun. As he said, yes, it does refer to a noun immediately before, and that is the fluid in verse 6. If you see the translation, there's a comma, created from a fluid ejected, comma, and then it describes the fluid emerging from between the backbone and the ribs, coming out of between the backbone and the ribs. Verse 8, indeed, he is able to return him back to life. This verse is still talking to the man. Remember in verse 5, he was asking him to observe from what he was created. And the two verses were telling him he was created from a fluid coming out from between the backbone, which is the word is sulb, and the ribs is at-tara'ib. That's it, sister.
So am I right to understand the verse is speaking about sperm is going to come from the backbones and the ribs?
Yes, so he was talking about self-propelling and all that. The word simply is gushing fluid. Any 7th century Arab Bedouin can tell you that the fluid that makes babies gushes. No such thing as self-propelling and all that. And then it talks about where the fluid comes from, the backbone, sulb, and at-tara'ib, the ribs. This is what you've got on the screen is the lexicon for the word gushing. It simply means water poured forth. Water poured forth, or fluid emerging or pouring forth. That's all it means. He also mentions some dictionaries that we need to go to for the words for ribs. He said, go to Al-Mu'jam Al-Wasit and go to Lisan Al-Arab, which is what we've gone to, and I've translated what they say about the ribs, at-tara'ib. They are simply the bones in the chest, adam al-sadr, bones in the chest. And everybody knows the bones in the chest are the ribs. Nothing to do with a baby making has anything to do with the ribs. The ribs are in the upper part of the body. Whether you're talking about the man's part or the woman's part in making a baby, the ribs are nowhere near the baby making machinery, which is in the lower part of the body system. He mentioned that it's talking about the man coming out during birth. The baby during birth comes out from the womb, through the birth canal, through the lady's private parts, nowhere near her ribs. The ribs are in the upper part of her body. So even if we go by his alternate, very strange explanation, the baby does not come out during birth from anywhere near the ribs. I'm not sure if he's never seen a birth or never heard of a birth, or never even seen a pregnant lady. She holds that baby very low in her body, in her womb. Go on.
Thank you very much, Daughter of Christ. I think he has seen a pregnant woman, and probably he has seen a birth because he has children. So let me just summarize. Surah 86 verse 5 to 8 is talking about sperm, which is going to make the baby, comes from your, let's just visualize this, comes from your backbones and your ribs, this part, okay? Apparently this is producing sperm. And of course it doesn't stop there. He denies communication skill of Allah. He says, no, actually, that's where the baby comes from. When you see the pregnant woman, all you simply see, what baby comes from here. And then this baby will come out from woman's private part, not from here. No one carries the baby for 9 months something in here. It's not only our dear Islamic Dawah team tries to help out Allah with Allah's one-to-one biology. Simply also tells us actually, yep, Muslims needs little bit more Arabic lessons, and I'm not sure if Daughter of Christ is available to give them some free Arabic lessons, as apparently Dawah team at Speakers Corner is spreading around free Arabic lessons. Also, they need to help Allah out with his communication skills. Daughter of Christ, would you consider to give some Arabic lessons to our Arabic as well as biology, since you've got science background? Would you be considering to give free one-to-one biology and also Arabic lessons to Dawah teams of Speakers Corner?
Sure, and I would encourage them not to speak about Arabic. I don't think Mansoor knows Arabic. He's not an Arab. I don't know where they get the qualifications to speak about a language. I would never try to unschool a native Japanese person about Japanese. So where do they get the qualifications about Arabic and ask us to bring Arabs when they're not themselves are not Arabs? I would ask them to humble themselves, to learn. I'm happy to give the free lessons, to learn from a native. If they're not sure, plenty of their Arab scholars have translated the Quran. Go with that knowledge. Go to Muhammad, go to Ibn Abbas, go to these big scholars who are way more knowledgeable and native in the language. Humble yourself and try not to give alternate explanations and philosophize, because you just make yourself look silly. Now everybody thinks that the baby comes from the ribs during birth. That is, you've just made things worse. Don't philosophize, humble yourself and learn. And I'm happy to give lessons, sister.
Thank you. Yes, Surah 86 verse 5 to 8 simply talks about sperms are coming from the backbones and the ribs. And one-to-one biology, baby takes its place in the womb. It is much down from the backbones and from the ribs and comes out from woman's private part. I am afraid once again Allah failed with his communication skill, as well as Muslims or Islamic Dawah team once again thought they could simply deceive individuals. God bless you all.